that. Here's one. That's basically, that's the serpent.
What's him?
That's a big, deadly, venomous coppermouth. Is that over here? Coppermouth?
Cottonmouth.
Cottonmouth.
So he's sitting right here waiting for the little bait fish to come through and he'll just wipe them out. Or if somebody walks by, he'll hit you too.
That's nice.
Oh.
Alright. Back again. Super Dog's under the table with her regular bone. It's funny, I got an email from somebody blowing a gasket for feeding my dog bones. Holy shit. So, these bones that I cut are, I slice them off of the leg bones of elk, just like a cow. It's just like the same ones you get in the store. She can't chew that sucker up. She just gets the meat on the outside off of it, and the what marrow she can on the inside. Some loose cannons out there, I'll tell you what. Sending hate mail because I'm giving my dog a bone. See what I mean? Look, it doesn't matter what you do online. I could probably go save 6 babies from a burning building tomorrow, and somebody's going to find something in there that makes them angry. It's true. It's true. Check yourselves, people. Check yourselves before you snap on shit in this lifetime. What am I doing? This chair seems low. I'm on the other side of the table for a change. Then another funny mention. I found this in the shop. This little thing. A lot of YouTube channels they'll put them up on their wall like it's a major trophy. I don't know. I get it. Whatever. I'm not the numbers guy, but one thing I would do. I remember we thought about throwing this in the air and using it for skeet practice when they're really hammering on us during the CVID shit. And I think the only way I would display this is if somebody you can make your own stickers or something. I don't know anything about it, but I think the stickers that Sarah gets, she's got to order them and by the numbers. If I could get one sticker, like with red print with the clear behind it, so you can see through it, just the red, censored. Do you know what I mean? Wouldn't that be great to put a red sticker censored across this thing? And then I'll put it upside down with censored on it, and I'll put it on the wall behind me. Then I will. How's that sound? Anybody hook me up with a censored sticker? What is this? Looks like it's about 10 by 12. So I'd say the sticker would need to be about 3 by 8. A 3-inch wide by 8-inch long censored red sticker, and I'll slap that on that sucker, put it on the wall behind me. Why? Well, because I'm a dick. There you go. Now, we got more voices to be heard. Man, there's so much crazy shit going on in the world. I woke up this morning and grabbed a coffee, hit the little device, go hit some emails. Saw a clip on YouTube, Candace Owens, who I got a lot of respect for. And they had her on some podcast. I don't even know the name of it. All I know is it said, Candace Owens shreds a woman who had sex with 100 guys in 24 hours. I'm just like, what the fuck? Where is this shit coming from? And of course, it's like a bad car accident you can't look away from, right? I'm like, because Candace Owens is she doesn't hold any punches back. And I'm like, what? Is this even real? Candace Owens is taking part in this dog shit title for hits. Nope. It was authentic. This chick, 100 guys, 24 hours. Her mother helped her. Trying to justify it. And Candace Owens, they got her and this woman together on the show. And Candace basically politely made her question her existence. And then she's going to try to break the world record of 918 people in 24 hours. I'm like, I still get it. I can't even believe I repeated that here, but whatever. It's in their faces. Kids got access to it, right? It's really weird. It's just really weird. Some of the shit that's going on. What's going on? Isn't it? So weird. What else? A few people accused me of hating on someone, getting emotional and hating on a reality TV star for wanting money to do a documentary when it's not the case. I don't think you guys have seen me a little bit angry a couple times, but anger to me is a far, far different than what a lot of people think. My frustration with someone wanting money to do a Bigfoot documentary has nothing to do with the person involved. It's the action. It's what's been done. I get frustrated with people who repeat what people have done a million times and it ended up doing nothing. That's what frustrates me. Okay? Just to be clear, for all you people that automatically think, what are you so angry about? Ah, fuck, you've never seen me angry before. That's why we're here today, to try to give everybody another angle to look at what's going on with various topics that you have interest in, and as well as how you get your answers for what's troubled you or screwed up your existence or your family's existence, right? And it frustrates me to watch people do the exact same shit. And I've tried to make that clear throughout this whole ride, right? Like we say, when somebody comes across getting this reality slapped in the face, they either go, there's one group that goes, I'm now a Bigfoot researcher. I'm going to go bang on trees and whoop in the night and put trail cameras everywhere. I'm going to start a Facebook page, and it's going to be exclusive, and we're going to get the answers. And that's where they stay. They stay banging on the trees, trying to put trail cameras better than the other guy, and staring at footprints and whooping in the night. 30 years later, now you've got how many groups of people, individuals, banging on trees, whooping in the night, putting trail cameras, and slaughtering each other on social media, right? And then you got another group of people who get the reality slapped in the face. What is going on? Why have I not been informed of this straight up and with honesty from the time I was a child entering the public schools? Why don't we talk about this? Why don't I know about this truth? What else have I been lied about? Then we've got that group of people, right, whose brains are functioning more independently than a lot of others. And they want answers. And they're tired of watching people doing the same shit. Repeat, 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 which keeps all of you going in a circle. Right? Which we've made quite clear easily here. So I just get frustrated when people take the bait of maintaining going in that circle. That circle over there, we've been trying to break free of that pattern over there so that we can get true, honest answers to a bunch of shit. Right? That's what frustrates me. Okay? It's not out of anger. It's nothing personal, no anger. It's the frustration of watching people do the same thing again. Drives me bonkers. Kick free. Break free of it. Move forward. Listen to the people. You want real answers? You listen to the people speak. That's what you do. There isn't one single ringmaster who's going to be able to deliver to you. Right? I mean, imagine right now, you guys gave me $250,000. We're going to give Steve $250,000. What would that change today if you guys gave me $250,000 to make a documentary? Is all I'm saying. Right? Who's going to benefit in the long run? Who's really going to benefit from that, right? I believe that all the answers are amongst us, most of them, and it's the only way to get true knowledge is through all of you, all right? And that knowledge doesn't have a price tag on it. You know what I mean? It doesn't have one main character, an actor, a theme, a ringleader. It's all of us together, equal as a group, smashing our heads together, figuring the shit out together, which is the only way we're going to pull it off, which is why we're here today and why we're possibly the most listened to group on the planet when it comes to this topic. And that wasn't the goal. Never has been, isn't the goal. Anyway, I'm babbling. There you go. There's no anger, no personal shit going on. It's the frustration of watching people repeat until they die. What we are doing is, yeah. All right, here we go. Let's listen to some people. I got my point across. Now, what do we got? Recent. Real recent. Here we go. This email is titled, Williams Lake Honda Father. All right, I read that yesterday, right? Hi again, Steve and crew. My name is, I hope I can use your name. Here we go. My name is Sean Crosby. I live in Blind Bay, BC, and I'm a free man. Right on, my brother. Thank you for reading a couple of my stories. I apologize for the mess of words in my last email. Not quite the visualization I was trying for. Writing definitely not my strong suit. 4. I lived in the Fraser Valley for 17 years. Then moved to the Shuswap, where I've lived the most part of my life. My son moved to Williams Lake 10 or so years ago with his mom and my oldest daughter who was in the truck also with Connor when we had our Sabi experience up White Lake. Funny, My daughter has never mentioned that experience. My daughter has never mentioned that experience of something big looking in the truck at her in the dark till this year. Wow. But in my last email, I was trying to explain quantum jumping, which is an outer body experience going to different realities and finding the different versions of yourself and learning from them. Yeah, I just started learning about that shit myself this past month-ish. Learning from other selves and their choices and actions we did not take in life. That's the idea anyway. You meditate until you think of nothing and see a door or doors appear. Then you open it to the different version of you which you can communicate with and learn. Well, it worked once, maybe twice. It took a month or so of practice every day to achieve this discipline. That'd be wild. I tried for a little bit the other day to try to follow the meditation recipe, and it's hard for me because my brain is usually going, right? It's hard, but I can get it if I have to cut myself loose and dedicate more time to try to master that and learn it and experience it. Then one night I woke up to two black figures with red glowing eyes staring at me. One has a hood on and the other a top hat like the one worn in the show Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego, or old school security stickers on houses back in the day. Okay, that's pretty creepy. One was shorter than the other one. The one with the hat was taller, if it makes a difference. I feel like they were bad and shouldn't be here. I don't remember if I felt fear, but a pressure definitely. Then through my mind I heard, "Can we come in?" And I said no, and to leave. I closed my eyes and put my mind blank. Then they were gone when I opened my eyes. I think that's crazy. The next night I go onto the computer and search for something like I saw the night before, and it didn't take me too long. I see pictures of shadow figures. Then I see what I saw right in front of me on the screen. Apparently some have glowing eyes, some don't, but there is nothing good said about them. While I'm looking on the computer, I feel like I'm being watched. I get up, peel the blinds down a bit on the window, and I see a 4-foot-tall gray with a big head. It's standing 6 feet or so away from the door, looking in the opposite way of me. Not sure what I did after that. I don't remember. I wasn't taken or anything. But who the hell can tell you that too and not go to the funny farm? Right? A month or two later, I was going to physio in Kelowna, as I lived there for a couple of years in a place in Kelowna called the Mission, sorta. A sorta nicer part of town. There's a building where they do physiotherapy and other things. It was several floors, so they have an elevator. I was waiting for the elevator when the door opened. There was a person inside whose face was transparent, looking sort of fuzzy and staticky and reptilian looking. I just got a glimpse. In shock, I closed my eyes and open as the person walks out, smiles at me, which now looks human, except I see a snake-looking tongue as they walk by. Holy what the F. Now who can I tell this shit to? Nobody. And gotta live with this every day until I found your channel, thank goodness. I've seen the forest people 6 times, and I have had 5 experiences with them, twice being cloaked, which both times they have been spying or looking in on my kids. But never did I feel danger. Weird, right? Especially with your kids, with some of the people's stories. I'm not sure if it's the juvenile that peeked at me when I was a kid, checking out my kids, or word through the clans from the coast. I have 6 kids, and 4 have been checked on by Sabe. It's weird shit. I have the know-how and firepower to start a shitstorm with them, but like I say, it's not even a thought when I've seen them. Maybe there's a connection or covenant made by my family 100 or so years ago, or they want to kidnap or eat my children. You never know what to think. There's many different scenarios. I've gone through many different scenarios. I've gone through Thanks to this channel and the brave people that come forward. Thank you for helping more. Thank you for helping more than you know. When I was putting in a sewer main in Prince George, I spoke with a couple natives that were on my crew about Save. I was told by the gentleman that their elders called them the protectors. Explained so I could understand they keep the real bad shit away from us. Or try to. Hauling groceries out of Vancouver for the Okanagan, I was climbing the Smasher before the snow shed. A couple kilometers away from Box Canyon. I see a gray stump on the clearing on the left side of the road. No shit, I know exactly where that is. I'm going 30 kilometers. The semi I had climbed that hill, fully loaded with freight at 30 kilometers. It took a while to climb to the top, to say the least. I had lots of time to look at this gray stump that is moving and started walking along the clear cut. Then I realized what I was watching. Highway 5A is the Coquihalla. The Smasher is the Snow Shield Hill. For who is not familiar with trucker talk. Oh no shit. So that's what you call it? The overhead canopy for landslides called the Smasher. Driving into Vancouver in the semi one time, I seen a silver orb hovering above the Abbotsford Airport while driving down the number 1 West, and a couple orbs silver around those new radio towers beside the highway between Surrey and Abbotsford. I think they are 5G or something, but would see them there every once in a while, hovering or moving very slow. You're bound to see something going down and back 3 times a week. Never mind all the shit in the sky at night driving from Sycamoose to Edmonton and back. Between Golden and Canmore, the sky is definitely alive with some nights. But you're definitely right, Steve. The forest people are the tip of the iceberg compared to what's real out there and what's going on. While we are lied to by the bastards. Glad my kids are educated to know that there are monsters out there, human and unknown. Thank you everyone who has shared. It has helped me and my puzzle pieces. Thanks for your time, Steve, and keep up the good fight, Sean. P.S. My mom said when she writes in the subject title, it will be Williams Lake Honda. Young man's grandma, LOL. All right. I got it. We got her. Fresh off the press. You've seen a lot of shit, man. I don't question it for a second. There's patterns in every single thing you share. There's patterns with how many other people, right? The Coquihalla Connector is a lot's going on. Well, a lot's going on every highway. But when you talk about the hauling part, Sarah's ex-father-in-law apparently used to deliver newspapers from Vancouver all the way up Highway 99 through Squamish, Whistler, Pemberton, and back. And he's seen Sasquatch people. I think he's seen them 3 times on the side of the highway. Drive, because I think he'd leave at 2 in the morning or something. It's in the middle of the night. I know a lot of people who've seen them on the highway, that highway, Highway 99 alone, and the Coquihalla. All of them, right? All of them. It's just the way it is. But we don't want anybody in school to learn about it, okay? Right? Pricks. What do we got here? Oh, here's one. I think I copied this. I copied this because I was curious to exactly where this guy was. And I remember the story. I don't know why, because after I read this, a few years after I read this, I started hunting right there. And I know I'm right where... Okay, this guy, he had his experience with his dog. He's American. He came up here camping. And really messed him up. He had a red... This thing was huge. Came out of the timber, the trail head behind his van. They were camping in the van. Red glowing eyes. He said it looked at me like it wanted to kill me. I think it roared at him. Might have shook the van. And guess what? Right where that happened, I lost my knife. Probably within... Right there, straight up the hill, straight back, about... I'm going to say I lost my knife within 1.5 miles of where this guy camped that night. and he camped there literally years before I started going up there hunting, without even thinking about him and his experience while I was making my plans to hunt around there. It just sort of happened that way. But here's I'll read it. My name is Joseph Griffin, and my dog is Bucky. I just wanted to write to you and say thank you. We did not speak of our encounter for years until a friend introduced me to you. You have literally changed our life. As a veteran, I always felt weak or lost after our encounter in Canada. I still cannot reconcile what exactly we experienced, though I'm no longer terrified. That night messed us up, brother. Though finally we are getting over it. Please know, Mr. Steve, you make a difference in our lives. We are back out in the woods hunting and fishing. Even Bucky seems better. Keep doing what you do. Thanks so much. All right, so, sorry, excuse me. I copied and pasted that so that I could look into that. And I want to find his initial encounter and see exactly. There's a lake. I think the small lake. Man, listen to those geese out there. Sorry. I think I know the lake, but I needed to look into it to confirm. So that's why I copied that. Reddit, whatever. Unbabble. Here we go. Okay, this is titled Hunt. All right. Hi, Steve. My name is... Said to start that again. Hey, Steve. My name is blank blank, but please don't share. I live in Michigan. I love the outdoors, hunting, fishing, etc. A few years back, well, maybe more than a few, I used to hunt deer, the western side of the UP. Although it isn't remote as most of BC where you are, it does get about as remote as you can get in Michigan. I'll get to the point. Sometimes when hunting, I would sit in the morning till about 9 or 10 and then spend the day following my compass, still hunting, making a big loop until I made it back to my afternoon sitting spot at about 4. One day I came upon a dark cedar swamp and thought, if I was a buck, that's where I would be right now. So I proceeded to move slowly and as quietly as possible into the swamp. And after about an hour, I found a good place to sit, where there was a good game trail going through. I was sitting there about 20 minutes or so, and made a couple hits on my grunt call. About 5 minutes after that was like a warm rush of get the F out of here coming over my whole body, so I did just that. Alright, that's it. Come here. About 5 minutes after that, it was like a warm rush of get the F out of here came over my whole body, so I did just that. It really didn't dawn on me at the time what was going on, but, excuse me, when I watched your video and you were talking about the feeling of dread and alarm, it hit me that that's exactly what I experienced. Excuse me, chunk of dust in my throat. I didn't see or hear anything out of the ordinary, but then again, I really wasn't looking. I just got the F out of there. I refuse to let that detour me from doing what I love to do, but I certainly have a heightened awareness now when I'm in the woods. I also believe that the heightened awareness made me a better hunter, so I'll look at that as a positive. Although I didn't have an actual face-to-face encounter, I do believe wholeheartedly that these beings do exist, and I also have a theory about the feeling that you, I, and many other people have encountered. I believe these beings are able to convey this feeling as a sort of defense or warning mechanism, but who really knows? From hearing all the stories, these beings seem to have a sixth sense, and conveying this feeling could very well be a part of it. Steve, keep doing what you do. You're a true warrior for what is right, and you have my utmost respect, sir. Many thanks. Okay, man, thanks for the kind words. And thanks for coming forward with that share. How am I sitting on? Don't know. All right, so when I was going on my journey of trying to figure this shit out, still am, but in the very beginning, when I was abruptly changing my stance on how to, about everything, about the simple thing, just getting a game camera, getting some food, some bait, whatever. You know, it's changing. I was learning rapidly. I soon figured out that a game camera isn't going to do shit. Physical bait ain't going to do nothing. You know what I mean? Was when I listened to that man. I've told this a few times, I think, in the past few years, but I'll do it one more time for all the new people here. So you understand what I'm getting at, and this is direct relation to them getting across emotions to us, manipulating our emotions intentionally. So I'm at this presentation with Dr. John Bendernagel, not a partner with him at all. I was in the audience, but I had already spoke to him previous, and we went out for breakfast the next day. But anyway, at the end of it, everybody's kind of milling around, talking shit. People are buying his books and stuff. And I was talking to somebody, I think it's from the Victoria newspaper, I think, was down there, and I'm just saying flat out how people are too scared to talk about it openly. Because they're scared of ridicule. And it's fresh off the press from my grandfather, blatantly not telling me, but showing me. Obviously, he was scared of ridicule, right? Anyway, and while saying that out loud, after this guy, quack guy, had his notebook. I'll never forget this, because it was a pivotal moment for me. Another one. He had his notebook, had John's book that he bought, and he's just standing there being quiet. And he had a pencil. I guess he's taking notes, listening. He wanted to learn. And he was... Where was he again? Damn it. Cherry Creek. Cherry Creek? Anyway, hunting. Deer hunting was buddy. Split up. I told this before. And he said he saw something. He's just talking to me and John. That's it. He's not talking to everybody in the place. Excuse me. And he said he saw something moving tree to tree down below. Thought, what's that? Is that a moose or something? And then he said a few short moments later, next thing you know, here's this thing standing right in front of him. I think he said it was like 10 yards away or something, right in front of him. He had a 30-06 with a scoped rifle, a 30-06. And he said that thing instantly jumped behind a tree and was peeking right out at him. Okay? And he's like, oh my God, what the hell is that? He said he put his rifle up and had the scope on his forehead. And I'm like, maybe it's 60 feet. Maybe I go 20 yards. I remember saying 60 feet. I remember the 60 feet thing. I said to him, I go, 60 feet with a scope on his head? I go, you said it's eyelashes. And I remember his reply. He said, I saw the whites of his eyes. He goes, I put that crosshair on his forehead, down to his eyeball, down to his mouth, and back up to his forehead again. We're talking, he got a bird's eye view of every detail you could ever dream of seeing, if you're curious, right? And then, he said that he could almost manipulate it with his gun in a way. No, that was later when his buddy showed up. Getting back to my main point. So he's looking at this thing with the rifle, and it's down behind the tree, but looking at him. 60 feet. And then he said, all of a sudden, he got a flooding feeling of everything's going to be okay. And he said it was a instant calming flood sensation of his emotions being changed to everything's going to be okay. Junk. Phone call. It's too bad that people let your numbers out commercially, right? So anyways, what I'm saying is in relation to what this person just emailed, he said that he was instantly overcome with a flooding feeling of calm and everything's going to be okay. Now think about how do anyone see an upright, huge, hair-covered, human-like being at 60 feet in the timber, eyes locked on you? All right, picture that one, without even knowing that might be a real item in the forest or anywhere. And within seconds, you can be made to feel instantly calm. How fast and how effective is that in putting the fire out? And the fire meaning your emotions, right? That's a substantial frickin' skill. Don't you think? If you think about it that way. Huh? How do they do that? And then it carries on. This is a pivotal experience I heard firsthand to help me along my ride, trying to understand what we're dealing with. And the other one was, all of a sudden it jumped right behind the tree. Like that. And was just peeking an eyeball up. And then his buddy came up. So this thing sensed and knew his friend was coming before it even seen his friend. His friend comes up, sees the look on his face, he's like, dude, what are you doing? He goes, look at that, look at that. He said his friend looked and started freaking out and winged his gun up. And he said that they almost controlled it. His buddy put his gun up, and it really hit. Really hit. Just peeking an eye out like this, going like that. And then his buddy put his gun down, and it would really look out. He put his gun up to look, and it just blatantly put its whole head and shoulder right out in the line of fire in front of the guy, the original guy, who had the crosshairs on the thing's forehead. Right? And I'm like, huh? He says, yeah, it's almost like we controlled it. My buddy put his gun up, it really hit. He put his gun down and stick his head out. My buddy put his gun up, it would really hide. But it didn't do that with him. So I said, so what's your buddy's demeanor like normally? Is he a killer? And he goes, oh yeah. Meaning trigger happy, right? So how did that being know that? How did that hair-covered, upright being know that this guy's buddy was more apt to pull that trigger than he was? Huh? You got two humans doing the same activity. They're both humans, they're both hunters, they both have high-powered hunting rifles. How do you know which one of those two humans is more likely to pull the trigger on your ass? That's instantly where my brain went. I'm like, oh, whoa, wait a minute. What are we dealing with here? Right? How did that being make that human being feel calm and safe instantly within seconds of that absolute mental shock of seeing the flesh and blood, whatever you want to call it, right in front of you, in your face, very real? There's nothing. I do not think at this stage of the game there's not too much that could make your emotions and your nerves go upside down to the max. Besides maybe, I don't know, being outside of a shark cage and a great white's 2 feet from you looking at you. Something like, do you know what I mean? Something real extreme. Like how do you manipulate a human being's emotions from going red line meaning absolute off the frickin' charts alarm, adrenaline, tremble, terror, and make that person's emotions go absolutely calm, everything's going to be okay. Without even speaking. See what I'm getting at? Some of these points that are shown to us that we kind of listen to, oh, that's pretty crazy, right over most people's head, and they go back to setting trail cameras. Right? Very, very interesting to me how they can do that. Why they do it, I don't know. How do people get... I'm going to read this to you. This is like total random. So my phone rang a minute ago. Don't know the number. And they left a text message. Important business matter. This is not a sales call. If you are Steve Stone, please press 1 now or return our call today. If you are not Stevie Stall... Hold on a minute. I gotta open my phone to read the rest of it. Why not, right? And it's gone. What the hell? There's so much weird shit going on, man. I don't get it. Here we go.
You are Stevie Stone. Please press 1 now or return our call today if you are not. Stevie Stone, please contact our office so that we can update our records. I can be reached at
Stevie Stall. Alright, this is not a sales call. Sorry for that interruption. Moving along. We're still sitting at our own public coffee table, right? And everybody's going to come up with different shit as we're sitting here. Alright, here we go. This is titled Sixth Sense of People and Possibly Bigfoot. Random. How many times have we done that? We talk about something, and then the next email is almost directly related. Oh, hold on a minute. This is an older one. But I felt it was very important. Holy shit, this is really weird because it totally correlates to what we were just talking about. Ready? This is a very crazy ass email. And I'm going to share it again. Some of you may have heard it, some not, but it's very important. My name's Doug Erickson. I'm a retired Minnesota game warden / pilot. My patrol area was in the northeastern part of the state, which is mostly wilderness. Feel free to use my name because, like you, I don't take crap from people either. In the 1980s, I was patrolling a very large lake in my patrol area on a very nice day. I decided to tie the boat up on shore and walk across the peninsula to observe any fishing activity in the next bay. I spotted a man still fishing in a boat about 100 yards out from me. I concealed myself and sat down. He did not move once. I put my binoculars on him to see what he was up. To see what was up. Within a moment, he started fidgeting and looking all around. He had his back to me and turned and looked directly at me. I was completely hidden, so he did not hear or see me. He started his boat and came to shore about 30 yards down the hill from me and started looking around, under bush and behind trees. I thought that he must have a hidden pile of fish somewhere and decided to let him pick it up before I picked him up. He looked from side to side, back to where I was and all around, and after a few moments of this, I realized that he was looking for me. I was startled by this, but also very curious. As he walked around and started to get further away, I mentally told him to come back, and he did. He did so each time until he walked up to the brush in front of me, spread it apart, and looked me right in the eye. What? I said, how you doing? He said, I knew someone was watching me. I said, have a seat, let's talk. We soon discovered that we were both Army vets, and he said that he had had that skill while in Vietnam, and it saved his ass many times. I have felt this sixth sense many times when working and always took it as a warning. Get the hell away and find another route. What this guy did was amazing. He knew I was not dangerous. I forgot to check his fishing license. After a feat like that, a handshake was more in order. Jump ahead 30 years or so. A group of us outdoor types shoot sporting clays and we're sitting on the deck of the clubhouse and the subject of Bigfoot came up. I mentioned that I had doubts about any primate living in the wild of Minnesota in the winter because they lose body heat so fast and the calories needed would not be obtainable. We do get to minus 60 F and colder here. My teammate spoke up and he said he had seen one. He managed a mining supply company and was traveling between towns and had to take a leak. He pulled off on a side road close to where his hunting shack is and stopped by a power line. As he was doing his thing, he looked down the hill to a small swamp and saw a huge figure pulling cattails out. After a moment, the figure stopped, turned around, and looked at him. It then ran to a poplar tree, hid behind it, and looked at him from side to side, not realizing that its shoulders were 4 times the width of the tree. Nobody in the group said a word. 3 of us were retired law enforcement, some were loggers or miners, and log cabin builders, all outdoorsmen. I broke the silence and asked where he was exactly when this happened, and he said right near Eveleth, Minnesota, Eveleth, Minnesota, close to me and one of our coldest towns. I'd never seen or found sign of Bigfoot during my working years, and if I had, I would have kept my mouth shut until retirement. My friend said that it spooked him, and he told no one except his wife and hunting shack partner, and I believe my friend. Doug Erickson, Tower, Minnesota. There we go. If you're still here, thanks again. If you're still here watching the channel. And there you go, you guys. So how amazing is that shit? Isn't it great and interesting that to know of some of these skills that we most likely all should possess and be in control of, and how many others are aware and are in control of that skill, like the guy in the boat. Is that crazy? I mean, I've had I definitely have sixth sense. We all do. I've been in tune with it as much as I can get in tune with it, to a point of just being aware. You know, I've felt animals looking at me and seen them looking at me. I've got home, you know, was it a year ago? I came home from being away for 2.5 weeks hunting, and I came home and I was home for a day or 2 days, and my gut went, you gotta go to the mainland to go to your deer hunting spot right now. And I told that to Sarah, I gotta go. And she's my witness. I said to her, I gotta go. I can feel it. I gotta go. It's gonna happen. When I normally don't even harvest a record blacktail deer. It takes me a lot of hunting just to get my eyes on one. And I knew I had to go. And I left, slept, got up 4 a.m, hiked into a spot, and I stuck an arrow in a huge, massive record blacktail buck. And then I went home. You know, I'm just saying, examples of that sixth sense, the gut feel, the intuition, our spirit guides, whatever, but that skill that man had in that boat. And then you talk about the skills that these people are intimate with when it comes to us looking at them. How many times we've heard of people looking at them? They see them from the backside and they freeze the second. We talked about this already. They really freeze the second your eyes hit them. What more can they do, right? You got people who swear on the lives of their whole entire family tree that they've seen this being vanish in broad daylight right before their eyes. How many of those eyewitnesses is it going to take for you to see a pattern and accept that that just might be really going on? Do I believe that's happening? Absolutely. Not a question in my mind. That is happening. It took me a while to get there. It took me a while for me to accept eyewitness testimony as fact. But after you hear about it from people from all over the world, not connected in any way, you better start listening. No matter how badly your brain wants this shit to not be true, you better start listening if it's the truth you really want. Right? Do you really want that truth? Anyway, there you go. Little ramble-bamble. But I'm going to set trail cameras way better than the other guy. Right? Right? I'm going to set trail cameras differently. Oh boy. What? What are the chances? I don't understand this. How at times in the morning, I could be bringing light to a topic, and the next emails are directly related to what I was talking about. Listen to the title of this next email. You can't make this shit up. I opened these for the first time with all you guys. What I can surmise about lost skills and instincts. How does that even frickin' happen? Seriously. Here we go. Steve, here's what I can tell you about lost skills and instincts. This is almost creepy in a way. How this works out sometimes. I don't give a rat's ass if you read my name or not. My mother always told me I was gifted. I have dreams that come true all the time. I have survival instincts well beyond normal. I can read a battlefield and know where I need to be in an instant. I instinctively know when there is danger around. I have no problem navigating at night in complete darkness. I took a friend hunting at 3 a.m. and he asked me, how the F can you navigate through that shit in total darkness? I was in my 20s. Not sure I could do it today. I still have instincts that tell me don't go there, and I always follow them. As a man of God, and certainly not a good one, I do believe that God watches over me and that I have yet to do what he sent me here to do. There are many times I should be dead. I won't go into that, but let's just say I should not be alive today. I can relate. So, why have we lost our abilities? Number one is the herd mentality of large cities. In the past, people gathered in herds for safety. There are very few people in this world that can survive on their own. PhDs in today's day and age could not pass a 5th grade test back in the 1800s. Remember back in the day before cell phones, we all had a couple hundred phone numbers stored in our head. If you've ever been the hunted, you very quickly become the hunter. I cannot hear worth a shit due to small arms fire, but I can sense a situation long before I walk into it. You take a look at any animal that has been domesticated, they are far inferior than the wild version. If the world falls apart tomorrow, you and I will have no problem surviving. The subjects that depend on governments will perish. Will it help them get through hard times? No. You get what you voted for. Back to the subject. Like you, I had no use for school. I did not get brainwashed by the system. I do believe that is the reason my senses are more in tune to our natural habitat than most. Imagine Lewis and Clark traversing a continent with absolutely zero idea what they were in for. I don't think there's anyone on Earth that could do that today. Canadians, not so much, but Americans have become a bunch of spoiled pussies. In summary, if you don't use it, you lose it. That is by design. Jim Brock. Yeah, true enough, isn't it? If you don't use it, you lose it. That's true with everything, including a vehicle, machinery, your body. There you go. There you go. I'm very interested in those skills because I would love to enhance them to the max where I could. Actually, you know what? You know how crazy that would be if, I know apparently governments, whatever, they use sound. They can use sound to break up protests or whatever, manipulate people intentionally right now. But wouldn't that be crazy if us as individuals, wouldn't that be amazing if I could sit right here and I could make somebody out there feel absolute terror at will? Think about that one. Wouldn't that be kind of bizarre? Right? It sounds far-fetched, but there are some type of beings that are doing that today. They know how to do it. Wouldn't that be crazy? Be sitting there in a crowd or at a hockey game or something, I don't know. And you could be messing with your buddies going, hey, see that dude over there? 100 yards away? Watch this. Make the guy shit himself and want to run home. That'd be pretty bizarre. I don't want that skill to do bad things to people, although I probably would single out bad people. Yeah, I would. I'd be guilty of tormenting the bad people, but my reptilian encounter. Affirmations anyone? ? All right, here we go. It's a topic a lot of us don't even have time for, but there's so many people, especially today with the internet, are reporting this reptile-like beings. Gotta listen, right? You gotta pay attention. Or not. Blessings to all. From Lightning the Dances. I wrote a couple days ago, but no longer want to put off what has troubled me regarding a very bizarre, haunting encounter in the summer of 2019. Excuse me. I accept your invitation and challenge to share about ever-widening truths. My husband and I had a picnic at Davis Park, Modesto, California, Stanislaus County, California. It was a very hot summer day. We walked to bleachers by the restrooms to watch the dog trainers and various breeds in the field below. While we're sitting there, a nicely dressed young man approached. He looked like a college student, dressed in dark shorts, matching backpack, light plaid shirt, almost black hair, collegiate, clean cut, collegiate. Clean cut, his name was Tom. I tell these details not to authenticate, but because this memory is as vivid as it was that day, 2:30 in the afternoon on a Thursday. The whole of California was a fiery hell. Then, in the following months, smoky air and a brown sun. This meeting changed my world. But this incident was only one in a string of gravity-shifting events and epiphanies. And I believe that those encounters that others are experiencing can be so life-altering that they remain more vivid, so detailed, because they are true. Many of us don't remember can't remember who was at their 12th birthday party, or a teacher's name, though seen every day in grade school, or a phone number where we lived for years. But a brief sighting, an experience down the rabbit hole, details down to the smell of the trees, the color of the sky, indelible, for a lifetime. We began easy conversation. Tom, my husband, and I watching the dogs. But it's getting very warm, so my husband decided to move to the shade of a tree to nap or rest, just behind the bleachers. I remained on the bleachers. Maybe all this was about 20 minutes or so. There's something about him. And out of the blue, I asked Tom if I could guess his age. I don't know why. Curiosity? I'm pretty good at it, and sometimes it's fun. 23. Right on. Then I asked, and this is strange that I asked, have you had a death and comeback experience? And he answered, yes. How did you know? Terrible car crash when I was 19. Revived at the scene. Head first through the window. Shocked back to a heartbeat by paramedics before going to the hospital. I asked, did you notice any changes, abilities, perceptions afterwards? He drew back and seemed sort of caught off guard. Sat back, kind of looked at me as if amused. Okay, Tom said. Paused like he was studying me briefly or deciding how to respond. He said, okay. Watch what I can do. Stand in front of me. I was expecting, what? Double-jointed fingers? Stretchy skin? So I got up, stood in front of him. As he sat on the bottom bleacher seat, he asked me to step closer and bend down and get even closer until I was about 8 inches from his face. And just a twinge of nerves began to come in milliseconds. I was hesitating. He smiled again and said, see what I can do? Then it happened. And suddenly I was fused, rooted to the spot, unable to quit staring into his incredibly blue eyes. This happened in seconds. Seconds. His pupils enlarged until there was just a rim. I gasped because I could clearly see my reflection. Deep, black, round irises. I could see myself and my clothes, which I remember reflected on those enlarging black iris. Then as the iris became rapidly smaller, they were cat-like, elliptical, pointed as my cat's eye. What the F, Steve? What the F? That's not all. The color of the eyes became mottled and greenish yellow with brownish flecks around the iris, the cat iris, which was about medium in diameter. Kind of like a frog's eyes, the closest I could find in a picture. At first I laughed. Kind of startled bark more than anything else, but I couldn't move. Then they just immediately went back to normal. Blue, normal eyes in the afternoon sun, and I just stood there, like someone had just smacked all my brain out of my head. He tipped back on his elbows, crossed his knee, laughed at my dismay and confusion, and said, so now you know. Know the freaking what? What did I know? I don't want to know. What the F is this man or a thing that looks and talks and acts like a man? I've looked, researched, avert, paper on optics, involuntary muscle coordination in the eye. Nothing validates the human possibility except one obscure paper published in Russia a long time ago. One subject. Millimeters in one iris, occasionally. Why me? Why here? I looked around quickly. No one anywhere close. Where's my husband? No witnesses. And a kind of self-satisfied, sly look came over him as if to imply, as if, and, what are you going to do about it? Now that you do know, nothing, are you? He stood up still smiling, put on his backpack, started walking away, and over his shoulder said, looks like your husband's sound asleep. You going to tell him? Think anyone would believe you? And then he just walked away over the rise, just like that. I still had not moved from the spot until he was out of sight. Immediately I ran around the bleachers, up the grass to find my husband so sound asleep, like he passed out, that I had to shake him awake. He was surprised he slept so hard, but was groggy and in no mood to listen to an excited, baffled, scared, almost hysterical, crazy person. Now, if I tell you I'm a teacher with accolades, have worked with behavioral health and law enforcement to study and help pass legal and social reforms to help support freedoms of the disadvantaged and disenfranchised, if I told you, except for the intervention of my parents, the school system would have had an immature little girl, me, enter a university at age 11, that I have credentials and degrees up the wazoo, would that make my encounter any more believable? No. Credentials and acronyms and letters behind titles don't mean anything about character and ethics, honor, ethics, trust. Besides, that is only the start of a lifetime of growth and learning. My brilliant parents wisely turned me loose from childhood on 3 acres of our wooded land, where in addition to the relief from academic and social pressures, I explored and learned the real world. And as much of the truth and wonder and peace of that environment as I wanted to absorb. That is where real freedoms, healing, and truth reside. Agreed. I have so much admiration for someone who can build a smokeless fire, make cordage from nettle, or brew tea from a spruce tree, as I enjoy. More in common with, well, living things. Even more with anyone willing to learn these and other skills than I do for a person who believes they understand and expound quantum biology or theoretical physics, as I pursue and enjoy as well, because it's just often the newest top feed on YouTube, with no practice application except this to socialize with an obscure topic at a pool party. Did I mention I'm 77? Uncannily healthy and an avid outdoor explorer, hiker, wilderness person? I've come to terms that is just one high strangeness event over the last weird 3 years. I hope this reveal encourages and supports others. I could care less if I ever told anyone. But I do care passionately about truth and deeply care about offering words that might heal fractured minds, hearts, and souls. If I can be any support to those who have suffered complex PTSD and horrific trauma and an abuse, have I recovered? Not 100%. But through meditation and other skills I learned as a peer recovering specialist, if not conquered, made a sort of pact with this soul-scrubbing enemy called trauma. A truce, so to speak, that puts me in the position of commander instead of cannon fodder. You know, keep your friends close if you truly know your enemy. Of the mind or spirit, you can keep fear at bay because you know them. Can anticipate, diffuse, conquer. Fear, that is the true soul crusher. If the emotion or thought is mine, why should I fear it? Why I fear anything that is me? If simple insights are helpful to anyone, then I am the one who is blessed. May the great Creator and Great Spirit bring you peace, grace, and comfort. We are all truly bonded in this very special club in a return. Truly, I do not want to return, will not return to being blind, deaf, and mute. And realize this more and more through your exhaustive and most honorable efforts. Your voice and all of us, we're so grateful. All of your efforts and those who are willing to help others by including us in their truths. With respect, lightning the dances. Wow. There you go. Appreciate your generosity, your time you spent, emails mailed in, and your experience, words of encouragement and help. Thank you so much. Now the reptilian shit. I think there's a video. There's a few videos out there that shows people in a crowd, I think as in government. Maybe some people in government. Then it allegedly shows somebody's eyes switching over to that visual. But it's a video, right? Who knows? Maybe it's real. I don't know. But why is this reptilian thing so common amongst society today? And probably in the past, right? It's a pattern. That's why I'm talking about it openly, freely. Do I want it to be real? Not overly keen, interested, but if it's in my face, if it's a pattern, we have eyewitnesses from around the globe reporting that shit in. I want to hear about it. No matter how much I don't want it to be factual, you got my attention. There's too many people seeing stuff like that. Why? What's going on? Another missing puzzle piece, right? I want to know. You guys want to know? I want to know. What else do we got? I think I have some screenshots sent in. I'm going to blast a couple of those out of here, and then I'm going to get ripping because Sarah's got an appointment, and then after her appointment, we're going in to go to Costco, and we're going to do the last grocery shop of 2024 and get it to those kids. Here's a screenshot for comment. The great alien reminded me of a girl I was dating online from the Philippines about 25 years ago. She told me that one day she woke up in the morning and had a really bad dream, and her whole family lived in a shack and they all had a bad dream also. Then started telling each other what happened, what their dream was, and was all the same. A large, skinny alien was in their home, and a bunch of little black creatures that looked like they had cat ears were in their house doing very bad things to them and their children, the women, the older mom. And she thought they were demons, and she's a very religious person. And even after that, she became extremely religious, going to church every day. I tried to tell her that those were demons. They were aliens, and she still has nightmares today. They're very evil. They couldn't move. They couldn't talk, and I think they tried to erase their memory. But they're messed up. Philippines, a whole family. Same dream, messed up. Red flag. What's going on? Right? What is going on? What else do we got here? Here's another screenshot from the YouTube channel. I lived in Vancouver in the 80s and had several strange experiences. Once I was walking down a street in the West End and suddenly everyone was just gone and all the sounds stopped. The buildings were still there, but they were moving in a wave motion. Then I took another step and suddenly everything was back to normal. I also had UFO experiences that were witnessed by others. Okay, that's bizarre. I wonder how many people have had that go down. Right? Not just in the forest. In the city now? Or always been happening everywhere? Let's hear it. Share it. Don't be scared to share it. Here's another screenshot. Several years ago, I suddenly remembered an incident I had at the age of 9 or 10. My family and I had just arrived at a campsite in Sequoia National Park. While my parents were busy with camp, I decided to explore the area close by. Huge, giant sequoias were everywhere, and as I was standing near one group of the huge trees, I distinctly remember hearing what sounded like a rapid series of extremely heavy footfalls. I wasn't sure where they were exactly, but they had to be quite close by. Puzzled, I left to go back to camp. I'd forgotten this incident for decades, not knowing anything about Sabe at the time. Then, one day, someone reported extremely heavy footfalls in connection with a sighting. There you go. Another one. What's this one? Another screenshot. Comment. I had a Bigfoot encounter while conducting a survey for the federal government in Idaho several decades ago. Needless to say, that experience piqued my curiosity. Since then, I've delved into the subject with more than a passing interest. After listening to numerous credible first-hand eyewitnesses, thanks to Steve Isdall's YouTube channel, I've come to the unavoidable conclusion that there is something extremely paranormal about Sasquatch. Right? I realize my assertion that these creatures are extra-dimensional or otherworldly might seem somewhat bizarre and unsettling to a lot of people, but to those that scoff at the idea, I think Shakespeare summed it up best. There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. True enough. True enough. Okay, one more, then I'm going to rip it. I had a Bigfoot encounter while conducting... Oh, no, I just read that. Saved twice. Oops. Whoopsies, is that it? I got another one here? I think that's it. I think. Oh, nope. Oh, there's a huge one. Somebody wrote a book in the comments section, and it got saved and sent in 1, 2, 3, 4 different screenshots, so another time. But here's another one. In 1982, my brother George and I were abandoned. I was 13, he was 15. We were walking home about 2,100 hours on a dirt road along the back of the Honey Island swamp. Pitch black, had one pitiful flashlight. I knew something huge was moving through the swamp, faster than we could travel down that road. So my brother George said, on the count of 3, we run. He counted to 3 and we ran as fast as we could, the last mile to our trailer with no electricity. Our dog would not come out from his hole under the trailer. I had that dog 15 years and that was the only time he's ever been scared. Robert D.L. There's another one. It's endless. Endless. All right, there you go, you guys. Lots to chew on today, right? Lots to chew on today. Those skills. Right? Those frickin' skills. And I'm pretty certain that the skills of these people were conveyed to us way before any TV show hit the screen. Right? And I will guarantee you, anybody and everybody who's ever been involved with a documentary or TV show that hit the screen publicly on this topic knew about these skills and experiences people are having with these forest people well before they stood in front of that camera acting like a doorknob. Guaranteed. Don't you think? Don't you think? How do us mere mortal humans even begin to think that we can outclass anything with just those skills? Right? How do we even begin to convince yourself? How could you even convince yourself for a second you're going to go get a couple buddies, you're going to run out in the woods and outclass these people, these beings? It's not going to happen. There is no effing way it's going to happen. Not right now. Not us regular humans, right? Right? Think about it. Anyway, gotta get going. It's going to be a gong show. But it's got to be done. I'm pretty sure Costco's probably in the States too, right? I don't know. I haven't a clue. But if it is, you guys know what I'm up against. It's a Saturday, and we're going there in the middle of the day. Oh my God. I mean, we're talking some tactical, aggressive, psycho shoppers in there. I go in there and I steer the carts while Sarah goes around. She knows where to go and what to get, and I just steer the cart. She has a cart when we fill up a couple. For the first trip into the store, I think the last time we went through the till at Costco, everybody's kind of looking at us. And even the guy at the till said, "This is the largest order I've ever done, ever, here, working here." Right? So, it's almost like Mortal Kombat. Some of these women, it's so comical for me to watch. They're just looking at you like, you just go ahead and try to cut in front of me. You know what I mean? It's nerve-wracking, but we'll get her done. And it's pouring rain. So tomorrow, we're going to get the shop done today. And then I think tomorrow, we're going to go throw down all this food for all these unsuspecting families. Kids. Because of you guys. Share my story at howtohunt.com. Alright? Email me your truth. No matter how crazy you think it might be. If it's your truth, we want to hear it, alright? Just get it to us. It's day 3. And we did a hike alongside this valley. Saw those 4 rams are still up there from yesterday. And we looked about a mile down and found a bunch of ewes and lambs and 2 monster billy goats together. It's kind of funny looking. And we're going to go into this basin now, this big one, and see what's in here. It's a good hike. This country is unbelievable, and we're having a lot of fun. And Some crazy, crazy gnarly country here. Awesome experience. Pretty incredible.